This is my brand new to me 1985 18-inch bandsaw. So a man local to me sold me this bandsaw, and with it he threw in a mobile base. The base is just a piece of plywood with some casters on it, and the casters were pretty bent out of shape. So I knew I was going to be building a new base. That new base I made out of 2x8 material to raise it up a little bit higher, as well as installing fixed casters in the back, no more swivel, so get rid of some of that racking. And in the front, these ratcheting casters that can go up and down and level themselves to the floor or retreat up into themselves and become swivel casters so I can move this all around the shop should I need to. Now, the issue that needs addressing in this video is the fact that when I was using the original base the man gave me, this thing cut beautiful. There was no shake whatsoever. Upon building the new base, well, just take a look for yourself. Yeah, that's obviously no good. So I think our first step is going to be for troubleshooting this is getting our covers removed and taking some more baseline readings. Okay, so upon taking off the covers, that's actually worse, because that was about 40 thou, 20 thou in either direction, and that's just insanely unacceptable. So the next thing I want to do is isolate the upper wheel, see if that's like out of balance or something. So we're going to do that by removing the blade. The shaking went from about 40 thou to 30 thou, an improvement of 25%. Pretty good, but I don't really think that's where the root cause of things are yet. Now, I was shaking around this wheel, seeing if it was loose or anything, and it's pretty tight. It doesn't seem like there's any real slop in the bearings, but it is very easy to remove this lower wheel, so that's the next thing we're going to try. All I have to do is take off this nut, and then we're going to do a measurement, and that'll tell us pretty much if things are related to the motor or the belt or something on the back end. Well, we're down another 10 thou, but we're still 20 thou left to right, which is still 20 thou too much. So our next step is going to be taking the two belts off of the motor, which couple to the lower shaft. Contact. Well, seeing as we've gone to essentially zero run out, I would say the motor is not the problem and it is something to do with the belts. So let's move on to our next step. So just now off camera, I've gone through the whole motor assembly area, including the hinge and the bracket that locks it in place, and just tightened all these bolts down. And I went ahead and tensioned both belts on the backside. So let's see if there's any noticeable improvements. Well, that's quite the improvement. We're now sitting around 6 thou run out. Now, unfortunately, that's not exactly the 0 to 1 that I'd like it to be. So I think our next step is going to be replacing these two belts, and we'll see how that goes. So I'll get that ordered up and we'll meet you back here. And there we have it. We're down to around 4 thou of run out. Now, this is perfectly acceptable. I've used it to cut. It's not shaking. It's not noticeable at least anymore like it was. It was crazy. But we're going to leave it like that. I don't want to start replacing bearings and all that. Now, the reason I think we really ran into this problem going from the old base to the new base is because when I had some buddies over to help me transfer it, I think we lifted up on the motor and kind of detensioned it. So you saw when we just simply retensioned the belts, we got down to around 6 thou. Now, that's really the root cause, I think, of all of this, but it doesn't hurt to change out the belts. These new belts should last for the rest of the life of this saw, as they are good name brand belts. But anyways, yeah, I think that's the result, and hopefully learn something about how to troubleshoot a bandsaw shake, and we'll catch you on the next one.